Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn to use enemies. A Stoic perspective. Part 1. The illusion of friendship and the reality of human nature. Why trust is dangerous when given too freely. Many people assume that friendship is a fortress, solid, unbreakable, built on loyalty and mutual respect. They believe that a friend will always stand by them, protect them, and never betray them. This is a dangerous illusion. Even the strongest friendships can crumble under pressure, and even the closest allies can turn into enemies when their interests demand it. The Stoics taught that trust should never be blind, not because we should live in fear, but because human nature is unpredictable. Even the kindest friend can be swayed by emotion, self-interest, or external pressure. To assume that someone will never betray you is to misunderstand the true nature of people. Seneca once said, "A wise man is never surprised by betrayal. He understands that all people act according to their needs. Today, a friend may support you because it benefits them. But what happens when their survival, success, or ambition requires them to step over you? If you have placed too much trust in them, you will fall. But if you have remained cautious, you will not be caught off guard." The fragile nature of loyalty. History is filled with stories of trusted friends turning into bitter enemies. Julius Caesar, one of Rome's greatest leaders, was assassinated not by an outsider but by Brutus, a man he trusted deeply. Napoleon Bonaparte, after rising to power, saw his closest allies abandon him when fortune turned against him. Even Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, faced betrayal from those he had once considered allies. What do these stories teach us? Loyalty is often conditional. A friend is loyal when it is easy, but when tested, many will choose themselves over you. Familiarity breeds contempt. The closer someone is to you, the more they see your flaws. Over time, admiration can turn into resentment. Gratitude fades and ambition rises. A friend who once helped you may later feel entitled to more, and if they do not receive it, they may turn against you. A true Stoic does not place his fate in the hands of another. He does not expect lifelong loyalty because he knows that people are driven by their own desires. Instead of relying on others, he cultivates an inner fortress, a mind that cannot be shaken, a spirit that stands firm, and a will that does not depend on external support. The balance between trust and caution. To live by this law does not mean to reject all friendships or isolate yourself from others. It means to be wise in where and how you place your trust. Trust is earned, not assumed. Before giving someone access to your vulnerabilities, ask yourself, has this person proven their reliability in difficult times? Are they driven by self-interest, or do they truly value honor and integrity? If the situation changed, would they still stand by me, or would they turn away? The Stoic does not live in paranoia, but in awareness. He does not assume betrayal, but he remains prepared for it. He does not place his happiness in the hands of another because he understands that all things external are fragile. His strength comes from within. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn to use enemies. A Stoic perspective. Part 2. The power of enemies. How opposition makes you stronger. Why enemies are more honest than friends. While friends often tell us what we want to hear, enemies expose us to hard truths. A friend may flatter you, avoid confrontation, or protect your feelings even when you are wrong. But an enemy has no reason to lie. Their attacks, their criticisms, their challenges, these are often the most honest reflections of your weaknesses. The Stoics believed that opposition is a gift. Just as a blade is sharpened against stone, a person is sharpened by struggle. If you never face resistance, you never grow stronger. If you are never criticized, you may never see your own flaws. Marcus Aurelius in Meditations reminds us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Enemies force you to evolve. They push you beyond comfort. They challenge your ideas, test your patience, and expose your vulnerabilities. And in doing so, they give you the opportunity to fortify yourself. How to use your enemies to your advantage. 1. Let them reveal your weaknesses. Instead of reacting with anger when an enemy attacks you, ask yourself, is there truth in their words? If they call you arrogant, do you lack humility? If they say you are weak, have you grown complacent? If they seek to destroy you, have you left yourself vulnerable? A Stoic does not fear criticism. He welcomes it as a tool for self-improvement. 2. Let their hatred strengthen your resolve. Enemies want to see you fail. Let that be fuel. Every attack, every doubt, every obstacle they place in your way, use it. If they try to discredit you, build a reputation so strong it cannot be shaken. If they try to weaken you, train your mind and body to be unbreakable. If they try to outmaneuver you, become more disciplined, more patient, and more strategic. Their resistance makes you sharper, stronger, and more focused. Instead of seeing them as a threat, see them as an unwilling teacher. 3. Use their energy to your benefit. Sun Tzu, the great strategist, once said, when your enemy is making a mistake, do not interrupt him. Enemies can be manipulated because their hatred blinds them. They are emotional, reactive, and often careless. Let them believe they are in control while you remain steady and composed. They will make mistakes. they will overreach. And when they do, you will be ready. The Stoic mindset. Control over emotion. A fool wastes energy hating his enemies. A Stoic sees them, understands them, and uses them. Do not take their attacks personally. Do not waste time in emotional battles. Do not let anger cloud your judgment. Instead, remain calm, study their movements, and let their actions become a tool for your success. An enemy is not a curse. It is a training ground for resilience. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn to use enemies. A Stoic perspective. Part 3. The true path to strength. Trust yourself above all. The only trust that cannot be broken. Friends may betray. Enemies may scheme. The world may shift around you like a storm-tossed sea. But through all of this, there is one foundation that remains unshaken: yourself. The Stoics believed that true security comes from within. Do not rely on the loyalty of others. Do not seek external validation. Do not place your fate in the hands of another person. Instead, cultivate the one thing that no one can take from you: inner strength. Epictetus reminds us, no man is free who is not master of himself. If you rely on others for support, you are never truly free. But if you develop self-discipline, emotional control, and an unshakable mind, no betrayal, no enemy, no circumstance can break you. How to build absolute self-reliance. 1. Become your own teacher. Instead of seeking guidance from others, learn to guide yourself. Read, observe, and think critically. Learn from the mistakes of history and the wisdom of the greats. Develop your own judgment instead of blindly trusting in others. A Stoic does not wait for someone to lead him. He becomes his own master. 2. Strengthen your willpower. Many people fold under pressure because they have not trained themselves to endure hardship. But adversity is the ultimate teacher. When you face difficulties, embrace them as opportunities to grow stronger. When you feel doubt, remind yourself that courage is built in moments of uncertainty. When life tests you, do not complain. Rise to the challenge. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." 3. Detach from expectation. People often suffer because they expect loyalty, fairness, or kindness from the world. But reality does not operate on your expectations. Do not expect a friend to remain loyal. Be prepared if they turn. Do not expect an enemy to act rationally. Be ready for deception. Do not expect life to be easy. Embrace the struggle. When you let go of expectations, you become unshakable. Nothing surprises you. Nothing weakens you. Nothing controls you. The Stoics' final lesson: walk alone if necessary. There is a power in solitude. Not in isolation, but in self-sufficiency. A strong man does not need a constant circle of friends, nor does he fear standing alone. He is comfortable in his own mind, confident in his own decisions, and prepared for any challenge. If people stand with you, walk forward with strength. If they abandon you, walk forward with strength. If enemies rise against you, walk forward with strength. In the end, the only trust that truly matters is the one you place in yourself. Build it, and no betrayal can break you. Cultivate it, and no enemy can defeat you. Final thought. Do not depend on friends. Respect them, but remain prepared. Do not fear enemies. Use them as a tool for growth. Do not seek security from others. Build it within yourself. This is the path of the Stoic. This is true power.